Sometimes after a quarterback hangs it up twice, or a quarterback hasn't played in the league in nearly a decade, they just need to learn to let it go and leave the NFL alone. And while one of them was more tongue-in-cheek about a return, another was definitely not. So I've got to talk about that. JJ McCarthy's sad end to his rookie season, Mark Andrews being in a car crash, and more. But first, Alright, first up, Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah just got paid today, signing a 3-year deal worth up to $39 million, with 25 of that being guaranteed. It's well-deserved, as the former second-round pick is coming off his first Pro Bowl season after racking up 101 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and a couple of INTs. He's a do-it-all kind of guy, Swiss Army knife for the Browns defense, and Cleveland has him locked up for years to come. And with that extension, the Browns now have 13 players making over $10 million per season, which is a league high. You can see all of them here on the screen, holy smokes, but the name that sticks out is obviously Deshaun Watson, who's making $46 million per year. That currently has him up there around the 10th highest paid QB in the NFL, though he's only played in 12 games over his 2 seasons with the team. He served an 11-game suspension in 2022 for being a piece of garbage, then battled through injuries last year, and it's safe to say he certainly hasn't delivered yet, and while he rubs a lot of people the wrong way, we'll see if the Browns are in for a happy ending this season. Next up, Colin Kaepernick may be making his return to the league one way or another. Probably not, but hear me out. In a recent interview with Sky Sports NFL, it sounds like he hasn't given up on his dream of making it back onto the field.
We're still training, still pushing. So hopefully we just got to get one of these team owners to open up.
Well, the now 36-year-old quarterback hasn't played in an NFL game since the 2016 season, 8 years ago. And while he says he's been training all these years, politics aside, I don't care what your position is on the anthem protest and all that. Do not care about your thoughts, even though you're going to let me know in the comments one way or another. I just don't know how many teams are interested in a 36-year-old quarterback that hasn't taken an NFL snap in almost a decade. This isn't the first time we've heard rumblings of a Kaepernick return either. If you remember, pretty recently after Aaron Rodgers went down with the Achilles injury last year, he sent a letter. Kaepernick sent a letter that was for some reason released by J. Cole, addressing Jets GM Joe Douglas, asking him for a shot to even just play on the practice squad. Well, obviously, that didn't happen, and now here we are nearly a year later with the former QB still making his desire known. However, signing to a team's roster may not be the only way Kaepernick can make his return to the NFL. Last week, Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh said that after he took the head coaching gig in LA, he reached out to Colin about joining the Chargers staff in some capacity, saying, quote, "Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. He's considering it. He said he was going to get back with me. We haven't reconnected since then." That was early on in the year. Obviously, Harbaugh coached Kaepernick during their time together in San Fran, going to a Super Bowl together in 2012. He's always been an advocate for the guy, even arranging an open workout during a spring game at Michigan back in 2022. So definitely history there. And while I'm sure he would just come in as some type of an advisor, maybe an assistant quarterback coach or something like that, it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of this. Though honestly, I highly doubt it. Cap has made it clear he wants to play, not coach, and I think that's probably why he hasn't gotten back with Harbaugh since the beginning of the year when he was asked about it. Now, another player who sort of teased the potential idea of coming back is Tom Brady, who had this to say in a recent video, a vlog or something put out about him.
I just want to make sure all those young bucks in the NFL know that if I still wanted to come out of retirement,
all the way out, go way out, way out.
they still got something to deal with.
Please, God, do not let this geriatric, goat blood drinking, Illuminati pledging, ref paying, game managing, boring ass, withered up if not for Botox of a man make a comeback. I beg of thee. I mean, I think we all know this probably isn't happening. Tom Brady is almost 85 years old and just signed a 10-year contract with Fox Sports to be the lead color commentator starting this season. You could probably just view this as some good promo for his vlog, but I really don't think there's anything to read into here, although maybe the Minnesota Vikings should consider giving him a call, because it was just revealed yesterday that rookie quarterback JJ McCarthy tore his meniscus during the Vikings preseason game against the Raiders, but the severity of it was unknown, as it's something that the doctors can only find out once they get into surgery. I talked about this more in yesterday's video, but basically there's two outcomes with a meniscus tear. Either it requires a trim, which if that's the case, a player can return from this in roughly 4 to 6 weeks, or it requires a full repair, which comes with a much longer recovery time. And unfortunately for Vikings fans, JJ went in for surgery today, and it was revealed that he did indeed need a full repair, with Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell confirming that he will miss the entirety of the 2024 season. I mean, holy smokes, just yet another brutal blow for the Vikings. JJ was coming off a strong preseason debut with real conversation brewing about who should be the Vikings starter this season between him or Sam Darnold. Well, like it, love it, or hate it, Sam Darnold is officially the guy this year in Minnesota. And here's a pretty wild stat. According to Doug Clawson of CBS Sports, J.J. McCarthy is officially the first QB drafted in the first round since 1967 to miss his entire rookie season due to injury. This goes to show that this team is indeed cursed and adds yet another devastating quarterback injury for this team in recent years. In 2016, Teddy Bridgewater suffered a non-contact knee injury before the regular season, and he missed almost 2 full seasons. Then, last year, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles in Week 8, right as the Vikings put together a 3-game win streak and got their season back on track. And to add even more fuel to the franchise on fire, they had a pretty decent scare today during practice. Vikings receiver Jordan Addison ended up getting carted to the locker room after leaving practice with an apparent leg injury. He reportedly hobbled off the field being helped by trainers after making a leaping attempt at a contested pass. Some good news here, though, is after practice, head coach Kevin O'Connell said that while Addison injured his ankle, he does not believe it to be serious, saying, quote, "I think he's going to be okay." So, okay, hopefully a bullet dodged there because they didn't dodge one with JJ. But if that wasn't enough for the Vikings, another receiver, Thayer Thomas, also went down due to an injury during today's practice. Matthew Collar at Purple Insider reported that Thayer went down really hard and stayed down, though eventually he slowly walked back to the locker room. I mean, he probably wasn't going to make the 53-man roster, but you still hate to see injuries no matter who it is. And this makes for yet a very insane day for the Vikings. And once again, stay strong, Vikings fans, even if the football gods are not on your side, or in fact may even hate you. I am for you. Just know that. Next up, we got to get to some other injury news, including a player who, unlike J.J. McCarthy, avoided any serious injury following a scary situation. So we'll get to that, but first, Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs reportedly suffered a hamstring injury during practice on Monday, with Lions fans rightfully going into a bit of a panic as soft tissue injuries can often linger for weeks on end if not taken care of properly. See Justin Jefferson last season, for example, who missed 7 games due to a hamstring injury. Thankfully, though, Gibbs' situation doesn't appear to be that severe, as Jordan Schultz reported today. The hamstring injury he suffered is not considered significant, but the team will be very cautious with rest and rehab to make sure he's 100%. Schultz then went on to say that Gibbs should be ready by week 1 for their game against the Rams, so some good news there for the Pro Bowl running back entering year 2. Now, another player that was reportedly shaking up during practice today was Bears receiver DJ Moore. Greg Braggs Jr., who covers the Bears, said that DJ got shaken up after going for a contested catch with Jalen Johnson in coverage. He then got looked at by the trainers, clearly in pain, and apparently they were looking at his right ankle and foot area. Thankfully, though, I think like Jordan Addison, it's just a minor thing, but even better than Addison, Moore was back running routes in 11-on-11 shortly after, so it looks like he definitely avoided anything serious. Someone else who avoided injury was Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, but not in the way you might be thinking. You see, the Ravens released a statement this morning saying that Andrews was involved in a car accident while driving to practice this AM. The medical staff at the facility evaluated him, and thankfully he avoided any apparent injuries. He then later joined the team for morning meetings and was already scheduled for a non-practice day today, I think a veteran rest day, so he wasn't going to be out there practicing regardless, but he's expected to return to practice in the coming days. Next up, we have another bit of an update, if you want to call it that, regarding Brandon Aiyuk and that whole situation. I think we all know what's been going on by now, but basically the 49ers offered a deal to Aiyuk, but the two sides couldn't come to an agreement. Aiyuk then requested a trade. The 49ers allowed him to seek one, and when the dust settled, the 49ers supposedly have a deal in place with the Steelers to send Aiyuk to Pittsburgh, so now it's up to Aiyuk to decide if he wants to head to play for the Steelers or return to stay in San Francisco. They have apparently offered him a more competitive deal last night. It's a developing fluid situation, pretty ricky. The People's Insider on Twitter said last evening that the 49ers even upped their offer to Aiyuk. So they seem pretty eager to try and work something out. And today, Aiyuk was spotted at practice giving GM John Lynch a handshake and pat on the back like, "Sup, bro? Want to pay me?" Aiyuk's obviously been holding out as this debacle unfolds, But maybe it's a positive sign that he could potentially be staying, especially with the 49ers upping their offer last night. Maybe it's in close enough ballpark range that Aiyuk's like, yeah, rather than going to the Steelers, who have no future plan at QB, I'll stay here and help chase a ring with a very great team. And honestly, I have no idea how this is going to play out. I will just say I am more than ready for this saga to be over with one way or another. So until next time.